I stepped into the apartment and immediately felt choked. It wasn't the air. It was sound being vacuumed out, leaving behind an abnormal, ear-splitting stillness. This was the hook, a bone-deep chill that had nothing to do with the air conditioning, but everything to do with a distorted silence hanging heavy around my head. My name is Ayman bin Zelkarnin. I'm not an actor. I'm an independent documentary filmmaker searching for the next wave. I believe the most genuine horror isn't found in a script, but in the places people have abandoned. That's why I was here, in a derelict apartment block in Kuala Lumpur, in a unit nicknamed Rumah Senyap, the silent house. My goal was to shoot a short series on Malaysia's most notorious haunted locations. This was the first episode, and it needed to explode. The woman who arranged this lease for me was an elderly part-time broker, Sikamin. She simply handed over the keys, took a token payment, and offered a curt warning. Remember, Iman, if you hear crying here, you must not open the door. The apartment was on the 12th floor. I slid the heavy metal door open. A musty stench, mixed with the faint odor of old incense, hit me immediately. The air was thick, as if decades of dust and tragedy had dissolved into it. I began setting up my static cameras. Every corner of the living room, the hallway, and the master bedroom would be recorded 24/7. I wanted to capture the emptiness. Night 1, I tried to sleep in the master bedroom. I lay on a thin mattress I'd brought with me. The lights off. The city glow bled through the windows, casting gray, distorted shapes on the walls. I heard a small clinking sound from the kitchen. Cling. I held my breath, waiting. 20 seconds. Half a minute. Nothing more. I told myself it was old structures settling. I closed my eyes. Clang. This time, the sound of metal on metal was clearer, like a spoon dropping on the floor. I shot up, grabbing my phone. I opened the camera app. The screen showed the kitchen completely empty. The spoons were still in the drawer. I knew these events had to make it into the documentary, but I wouldn't be a coward. I got up, turning on my flashlight. In the kitchen, I found a small damp streak on the old tiled floor. The water evaporated quickly, leaving no trace. I returned to bed. The sense of tension began to accumulate. This was Rumah Senyap, night 2. I spent the day editing. I isolated the audio for the moments of silence, trying to emphasize the deadly stillness of the apartment. Around 2 a.m., I was reviewing a clip of the living room. I wore headphones to catch every detail. In the footage, there was a very faint sigh. It wasn't mine. A feminine voice, low and full of weariness. I flinched, pulling the headphones off. I looked around the dark living room. I returned to the footage, rewinding. This time, I heard an added detail, along with the sigh. A gentle, rhythmic, creaking sound. Like a small swing set swaying in the wind. I rationalized it, but the excellent trailer material was secondary to the rising fear. Day 3. I decided to dig into the apartment's true history. I went to the district library. The story circulating online was a murder suit, but the old court records showed a different detail. The girl's name was Mei Lin. She died of a severe illness, abandoned in the apartment after her father went bankrupt and her mother fled. Loneliness had killed the child. A shiver went down my spine. Sikamina hadn't mentioned crying. I returned with a new feeling, empathy, mixed with pity for a lost child. I decided to move a camera into the small bedroom Mei Lin's room. The room was empty, save for a circular stain on the wall. Night 3 in Mei Lin's room. I sat in the living room, reviewing the old footage. At 3:15 a.m., I heard crying. It was small, choked sobs, weak and pitiful. It was coming from the small bedroom. I remembered Sikamina's words. You must not open the door. But I am Ayman. I am human. I couldn't leave a child crying alone. I turned off the recorder. I grabbed my flashlight and slowly moved toward the door. Sob, sob, sob. I placed my hand on the doorknob. It was icy cold. Mei Lin. I whispered. The crying stopped instantly. The room reverted to a deathly silence. I waited. My heart was pounding. 1, 2, 3. A gentle tap came from inside the room. Baba. I want Baba. The voice was weak, breathy, yet clear, a mix of Malay and a faint Cantonese accent. I trembled. I took a step back. Uncle Aiman, I want Baba. Then came a short, echoing giggle from inside the room, a mocking, chilling sound. I turned and ran. I fled into the master bedroom, slamming the door shut. I checked the recording. No crying. No voice. Just static hiss. I wondered, was I being tricked? Day 4. I called Farah, a former colleague, a screenwriter. She arrived with a specialized digital audio recorder. This is perfect, Aiman. I can feel the despair. Farah said, eyes alight with an artist's morbid excitement. Farah cross-checked Sikamina's business card. Iman. This isn't a broker's card. This is the address of a Klinik Sakit Jiwa, a psychiatric clinic. She's the former head nurse there. What? The mailing case didn't happen here. This apartment, this is where the mother was apprehended after she fled the scene. She was treated at that clinic. I felt my entire narrative crumble. We were in the house of guilt, not the house of spirits. Night for the truth made the air thicker. Farah and I were both awake. At 4 a.m., a lullaby began to play. Very clear. A female voice. It was coming from the hallway. Lalay o lalay. Tidurlah, anakku. Tidurlah, hashabay. My child. Sleep now. It was sick. Amina's voice. Farah and I looked at each other. Her face was pale. She's here, Farah whispered. We slowly opened the door. The hallway was pitch black. Lalay o lalay. The singing moved closer. Farah immediately reached for the digital recorder. We need proof, Iman. Otherwise, no one will believe us. She ran to the living room. I followed. When I reached her, Farah was frozen, staring at the recorder on the table. Farah, it's not Sikamina. Iman. She held out the machine. The recorder was running, but the sound coming out wasn't the lullaby. It was a rough, distorted growl, almost inhuman, interspersed with the sound of dry, clacking bones. And she's gone, Farah said, pointing to the main door. It was still locked. No, she's still here. I said. I felt a sudden draft of cold air wrapping around my neck. I turned back to look at Farah. She smiled. She didn't want us to believe in spirits. We should believe in the living. Farah, what are you talking about? She pointed to the old TV. The screen reflected my face, and on my shoulder, I saw a hand. A thin, severely scarred hand. I screamed. I spun around. Standing behind me was not Farah. It was Sekamina. She stood there with a wide, grotesque grin. My son, you opened the door. I told you not to open it. Primera bakid Hawaii Farah was gone. The audio recorder remained. You are not sick, Amina. I stammered. I am the mother, she said. I was trapped here. This apartment held me. She stepped closer. Her eyes were bloodshot, and her breath smelled foul. Maylin didn't die of illness. She died because of me. I did it. I just wanted silence. She stretched her scarred hand toward me. My son. My son. You opened the door. Now you must take my place. I ran into the bedroom, grabbing my gear. I ran to the main door. I unlocked the door. I looked down the dark hallway. Just then, I heard the real sick Amina's voice. Ayman, you must be rational. It's tricking you. A voice resonated from Farah's recorder on the table. Primero locked back. The mother was 5 steps away, still smiling. Don't listen to her. She's a nurse. She always lies. She is Farah, I screamed, pointing at the mother. "No! Ayman!" A sudden, sharp pain erupted in my shoulder. I touched the spot. Blood. I looked back at the door. Sikamina was grabbing my shoulder. "Run, Ima, run. I'll hold her back." The living room was empty. Only me, with the bleeding wound on my shoulder. The twist. I looked at the wound. It wasn't a cut. It was a bruise from being squeezed. A strangulation mark. I stared at the recorder. It automatically replayed the final segment. "My son. My son. You opened the door. Now you must take my place." I understood. I wasn't being haunted. I was possessed by my own narrative. The woman was the mother's split personality. Sikamina was the nurse who tried to save her. Farah was the screenwriter creating the story of Mei Lin. And Iman was the one who had to reenact the entire tragedy, trapped between reality and myth. I ran out of the apartment. I ran down the dark stairwell. I ran. The end. I returned to my own home. I deleted all the footage except one clip. It was the scene of me sleeping, just before the first clinking sound. In the frame, the small bedroom door was ajar, and I saw Farah, my colleague, my screenwriter, standing there, holding a swinging rope. She wasn't looking at me. She was looking into the camera, giving a pitying smile. No, it's not her. It's me. I looked down at my shoulder. The strangulation mark had turned into a long scratch. I raised the camera. The screen reflected my face, and I saw myself smiling. Lale o lale, taderla anaku. Taderla I started to sing the lullaby. My voice was low and weary. The silent house is not the house of spirits. It is the place where love and guilt were left behind. And Iman had become the father who had to end his own life while the mother tried to save me. Iman the mother. Iman. I am the father. I am the child. I picked up the rope. I walked into the room. The final sound was the camera being knocked over, followed by the gentle, rhythmic creaking of a small swing set. And then, absolute silence. Thanks for watching until the end. What was your favorite part? Please let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss my future content. Your support is my biggest motivation. Thank you all so much.